mass transit for individuals, it could be really what allows us to move a lot of the freight back onto the rails on the commercial side.
I was going to ask you, you did a nice job on the presentation. At the end, you kind of talked a little bit about the economics more from a macro level. So on a micro level, what would the MSRP be on one of your Arcimotos, or what would be the incremental cost on the autonomous Google car project?
Well, so the second question, I don't honestly know the answer to that. I'm going to be visiting Google in a couple of months to really get a clear picture of the timeline of this. Our first product, the target MSRP is $17,500, and then incentives and costs should eventually, scale should eventually bring that down close to $10,000.
One more?
One more question.
My dad lived to be a man lived to be 100, and I asked him what the first car he saw. He said it was in Bremerton, Washington. It was an electric car in 1908. And he talked about how disappointing was the battery technology. Can you talk a little bit about battery technology?
Sure. So, yeah, and batteries, it really took consumer electronics to drive the acceleration of battery technology. For many years, batteries, particularly in automotive applications, advances were buried. So you take the Toyota RAV4 that came out in the mid-90s, and they actually had to stop producing the battery because of a patent issue with, I believe, an oil company that owned the patent rights to that technology. So it really took, the accelerated adoption of cell phones and portable computers and so on, where the demand for energy density and charge cycles and so on were such that battery development actually got to the point where it suddenly made sense for cars, at least from a basic power point of view. I think we're still 10 years out, 5 years on the near side, 15 years on the far side of what I would call the magic battery. And that is something that has a reasonable cost, that lasts for 30 years, that takes you for a full day of driving. And that's one of the reasons why we've focused so much on the vehicle platform at Arcimoto. Is your choices are either better batteries or more efficient platform. And so we've been really pushing for the more efficient platform so that we can make the most of whatever batteries you put in it, whether it's yesterday's lead acid batteries or lithium iron phosphate or some concoction that comes down the road in several years. But from our research and from discussions in the field, there's some really cool stuff that's going to start hitting in the 2014-2015 timeframe, and then we should see continued progression from there.
Mark, how about the insurance industry and the liability issue? TOT discussions together?
So there was actually, very recently, there was a conference in the Bay Area around sort of the legal issues of autonomous vehicles and so on. And sort of counterintuitively, the suggestion was that, oh my God, these things are going to be an insurance nightmare. I mean, I think the reality is that any time that there's a safety device that saves lives, NHTSA mandates it, right? Whether it's airbags or seatbelts or don't put the gas tank in the trunk kind of things. So I think what we're going to see is that once these actually prove out on the road, a dramatic reduction in accidents. This thing has already done 200,000 miles with no accidents. So you just run I'm not an insurance guy, but it would seem like you run the actuarial tables and you say, wow, vehicle A gets in accidents on average every 100,000 miles. Vehicle B has been running for 2,500,000 miles and has yet to have an accident. Insurance cost for this will be lower than insurance cost for this. That would be my assumption. I think. But yeah. All right. So shall we introduce the rest of the panel?
So I'm Christopher Gill, president of MotoVolta, and our company started out as a electric motorcycle manufacturing company, and over the past several months, we've been kind of transitioning more into the powertrain supplier business. We've been developing a very high efficient electric powertrain system for this motorcycle that we're building, and we feel that it could be very valuable to other types of vehicles such as Arcimotos as well. And so we're kind of shifting our focus towards that. So what I mean by powertrain is basically battery, the electric motor, controller, and then this level of management system, which is hardware and software based, that allows all these components to work very well together. So our main focus really has been on the management side. We're essentially going to not develop our own batteries or our own motor or controller, but focus on developing our intellectual property around the management side, because the analogy I like to use is that a company you can hire 8 players, but if you don't have a great management team, then you won't be successful. So in a powertrain system, the same rule applies. You can get the best batteries and the best electric motor and controller, but if you don't have a good management system, then this part really won't be working at your optimal performance levels. So that's kind of our niche. We're first demonstrate our powertrain in this electric motorcycle at a prototype level, but we're looking for other vehicles such as Arcimoto to implement the powertrain system and demonstrate it at a higher level. And surrounded in this powertrain, or in the management side, is some proprietary battery technology that we're packaging. And we've actually had some customers that are even in the electric vehicle industry want to use this technology for much different things. So it's pretty exciting to do that.
Well, I'm the old guy that's going, holy cow, really? I'm moving the bend. I'm David Allen, a lot of friends in the room. I'm one of the founding chairman and sort of was charged to formulate the WCTA 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And my brother and I own McKinstry, and I'm kind of up here because McKinstry deals in the entire span of clean tech and technology from soup to nuts on technologies like transportation, buildings, energy, utilities. I'm on the City Light Oversight Committee that's helping City Light rewrite their strategic plan, and there's a lot of talk about this stuff. And so I guess my view on a lot of this stuff is that I think we need to start the premises. I like what these guys are doing greatly, because a lot of people in this room know I believe that Americans get hung up with technology, kind of like Zuckerberg said, good is better than perfect, and so in that metaphor, there's not a lot of bad ideas and technologies that we should invest. And we should be doing, your product is fantastic. I'm an example. I'm almost 60. I'm in the 1%, so I don't live in Eugene. I live in 99. And I have a passenger car with taking I've always had a 4-door car family, and people don't drive a lot of miles.
We saw your car with the SUV and the...
Yeah. I looked at one of the big gnarly ones we had up there. My wife we have two cars for my wife. One, she could have that, because she has a little Scion my son had in high school. We live in downtown Bellevue. She uses that all around for all the things you just talked about. She does, I apologize in advance for having a big gnarly ass HUV. Now, I think the problem that a lot of us have with large cars is what happens on freeways. I think a lot of people have large cars for that safety, not functionality, going to bend skiing and stuff. I notice a lot of the SUVs never do anything but just drive around in. And I think your product, I see that as a monstrous way to displace the need for that get around town quickly and have maybe even neighborhood sharing cars.
Yep.
Neighbors sharing. So I just, my brother and I have been lucky. We've witnessed a whole bunch of technologies. Andrew from the state has seen what we've done. We're building biodiesel plants, waste energy plants. We own tire recycling plants, which is part of the problem too. What do you do with all the damn tire? So You know, the whole thing is about density. I mean,